Hey Drive Radio fans, we are here today reviewing the 2015 BMW M4. And first off, you'll notice the bright yellow color, which is kind of a yellowish, goldish green. It's hard to describe. It just depends on what you like as far as color goes. With Richard, he's behind the camera, myself, we've kind of grown on it. We've actually gotten to where we actually like the color. I don't know that I would buy this color and spend the extra 500 bucks on it, but hey, you know what, to each his own. This particular car, as it sits, this model that we're driving, you can equip these however you want, but the model we're driving, this particular press car, $86,200. This car starts at $64,000. By the time you get it optioned out, this particular press car again is $86,000. Some of what that includes, Richard, if you come around here, you'll see it's got the $8,000 brake package on it, which includes a ceramic brakes, you know, high-end rotors. This car's got the $1,200 wheel and tire package on it. Again, just has a lot of different features on it. I'm just going to read off the window sticker. It's got $1,900 adaptive light package, an executive package for $4,000. The dual clutch, double clutch transmission, it's a manual transmission that acts like an automatic, is $2,900. The adaptive M suspension is $1,000. The paint, as I said, was $500, actually $550. And then there's actually what they call the Bluetooth, enhanced Bluetooth and smartphone capability is another $500. The destination charge of about 900 bucks gets you up to the $86,000 mark. But this car, aside from all of that, aside from the pricing, etc., this car performs as well as it looks. I don't know any other way to say it. This car just flat works extremely well. Some of you have asked in the reviews, you know, what do we drive? Well, we drive all sorts of different things. We have a press car almost every single week. I've got a large fleet. I own a property maintenance company. I've got a large fleet of vehicles, mostly trucks. So I drive a lot of different trucks, things like that. That's really my department. Forgive me if we make a few mistakes on the BMW. It's not a car that I own or drive on a daily basis. My fun car that I own personally is a 2012 Corvette Grand Sport model, which is again really a lot of fun, a good car. I enjoy driving it. That's a review we'll do at a later point in time. How does my Corvette compare to this BMW? They're two different cars. They aren't one and the same. Some of you BMW fans are going to criticize me for owning a Corvette, and some of the Corvette fans wouldn't own a BMW, and on and on. I'm not going to get into that big debate. That's not what we're here for. We're here to review the M4 and how well does it work. How does it compare to my Corvette? Well, first off, it's got a back seat. We'll get into that when we get into the interior portion, which my Corvette does not have. Performance-wise, this car works as well as my Corvette does. It drives as well, handles as well. It's as fast, even though it's got a 6-cylinder engine, 425 horsepower. This car works extremely, extremely well. I love the transmission. I love the handling. I love the braking. This car just sticks, basically glues to the ground. Now, I will tell you this. We have not been until today. Today we're up in the 40s. Some of the reviews you've seen us do recently, we have been at the 0 mark or below 0. So we got this car when the temperatures were in the low teens. It's been really hard to even see how well this car handles, partially because of the cold weather. We just can't get the tires really warmed up enough. The pavement's not that warm. It's slippery still in some spots. You can even see from looking around us, there's still some snow on the ground. Aside from all of that, this car on the track would just flat fly. I mean, it flies on the road. The downside to this car is we don't have roads anywhere around here in Colorado that you really can even see the capabilities of this car. What I mean by that is, unless you're going to break the law, there's no way to really even feel how fast this car runs and how it handles and how it drives. It's still a great car, fun car. I love it. Carbon fiber roof, which is really kind of another cool feature that it has. Again, great car. We're going to go for a drive here in a moment. We'll come back and do the interior. Watch the short review that my son does. He wanted to do the long review. We were arguing back and forth who's going to do the short, who's going to do the long. But this is a really fantastic automobile. You know, where does it rank on our level of cars to buy? If you can afford it, you can buy this car. Go out and buy this car. It works fantastic. It's a hoot to drive. It's one of the most well put together cars I think I've driven in a long time. It really does work fantastic. And again, you'll just have to look at some of the options and see how it works. Again, this car starts in the 60s. This particular model that we drove, this exact car is in the mid 80s. You be the judge of how you want to equip it and do it. We're going to go for a drive. We'll come back and do the interior portion.
Okay fans, we're going to do something a little bit different here for the driving portion. I'm going to show you what the car sounds like revved at. We don't normally do this, but In the case of this car, we think you're going to enjoy it. So he's going to give it a little bit of throttle here. We'll go.
All right, folks, a little different there to just something a little cool. This car just has such great throttle response. We thought we'd get you outside and show you that. Richard's going to put his seatbelt on, and we'll get going here in a minute. One of the things, as soon as he gets settled in here, that we'll show you is this particular model, and I talked about it in the opening segment. Transmission-wise, Richard, show him down here. Even though it's got a regular-looking gear shift, you'll notice there's a reverse, a plus, and a minus on the selector. So to put it in gear, this car has an automatic clutch. It's a manual transmission with an automatic clutch. So some people would say, well, what's the difference? Well, it's really hard for me to explain in layman's terms. Essentially, it's got a dual clutch plate in essence, and it's hard for me to even say that, but it's basically an automatic clutch with a manual transmission. And in different driving modes, you can literally control it just like a manual transmission if you want to, or you can use it similar to an automatic transmission. It just works fantastic. But for me to take off, I just slide this over. I'm gonna go to reverse. Actually, I slide up and over. The screen will pop up. There's no lines telling me where I'm backing up, because I guess they figure in this particular car, it really doesn't make any difference. If I wanna go forward, push it over and I go forward, and I can manually shift up, down, and it changes the gear selector up here. I can actually change it, and it'll start in second or first depending upon how I want to do it. But and by the way, we've averaged about 25 miles to the gallon in this car, which for this type of a car actually works. I think it works extremely well. Interior wise, let's go through a few things. You know, everything on the steering wheel right here in front of you, up, down for the volume, paddle shifters here, turn signals of course on the left, wipers on the right, very similar to what you'd see in most all BMWs. There is a heads-up display in front of us. Really hard to see right now, but you know, it's pretty standard on the interior. Works really well. The interior itself is well apportioned. We'll get into more of that when we come back and do the interior portion after the driving portion is done. Stereo on this car, by the way, absolutely sounds great. I'm going to pull forward here just a teeny bit to get the camera off the screen here for us, and then I'm going to turn on the radio. Break down. We'll go over here. So to go to the radio, I basically just hit the radio button here. I can scroll to whatever station I want to. Little Charlie Daniel band here. On this car, by the way, and it sounds awesome. As you can tell, this car, again, this is just a phenomenal car. All right, folks, we're back, and we just have determined that you've got to be driving continuously 6 miles, do some other things to get into launch control, which we just haven't had time this morning to do. We just washed the car, got all ready to actually do the review. We haven't been out on our roads. There's still some water on them, etc. We just haven't had a chance to do it. But I'm going to do my best to kind of show you how this car can launch, even though it's not in launch control. So Richard, kind of look forward. I'll do my best to kind of get the RPM of this car up. All right, folks, so we're off on the driving. We kind of showed you how to launch it, did the best we could there. It's hard with, you know, cold tires, cold pavement, etc. But again, this car just flat hauls the bacon, works extremely well. Keep joining us for the driving portion, or for the interior portion. And again, the biggest complaint that I've got with this car is interior noise is a little loud. Other than that, the car is fantastic. Continue to watch our reviews, and we'll be back and we'll go through the interior. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed the driving portion of the review. Again, fantastic car, and we had a lot of fun on that driving portion. Again, as Richard always says, we talked about it even when we were driving, you got to get in this car and go drive it for yourself to really see how it works. We're going to now take you through the interior. We typically start in the trunk area. This thing pops up by itself. It's not automated, it's spring-loaded, so you still have to use your hand, you know, to push it back down, which is fine. As you can see looking through there, Richard, if you can show them, I do have the right passenger seat in the back folded down, or if you've got a longer, you know, item that you want to put in, some skis, something along those lines. Not that this is a ski car being a rear-wheel drive, but you get the drift. You can put something longer in there if you need to. Coming around to the side, Richard, and I'll just show the folks the back seat here quickly. Again, my Corvette does not have a back seat. This car does. Although not much of a back seat, you still could put somebody in the rear if you needed to. This seat we have folded down. That seat's not kind of give you an idea of how things look. The only complaint, and I talked about it a little bit in the driving portion of this car that I've got, is, and sorry BMW guys if you get mad at me, you know, you'll have to just be mad. The one thing about this car that I do not like is the interior noise is extremely loud. Now some of that has to do with the rigidity of the car, the suspension, things along those lines, but it is not a very quiet car. It's actually as loud or louder than my all fiberglass Corvette is. So I really expected this car to be quieter, especially being a BMW. I thought it would be quieter, but again, apportionments inside are great. Love the trim on the door panels. The way they just, you know, lay everything together is just perfect. The seats in and of themselves are fantastic. Nice support all around. I'm going to hop around over here to the driver's side, sit in here so you can kind of see. You know, this car just, you know, again, just works great. The seats hold you in fantastic. This is just a superb car to drive. We talked a lot about this car in the opening segment, and then again when we were driving it. You know, what else can I say? BMW M4 2015 model, $86,000 of fine German engineering. I love this car. It's great. Would I buy this car? Yeah, you know what? I'd have to really think seriously hard about whether or not, you know, I'd take my Corvette and buy a BMW instead. I mean, this car is just phenomenally fun to drive and enjoyable, and you get a back seat out of it to boot. So, you know, again, I hope you can see from our review how much we really enjoy this car. It really is fantastic, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. So again, watch us on YouTube, our channel, Drive Radio, all one word. You can also find our website, drive-radio.com. Listen to us every single Saturday. We're on live, on air, 10 a.m., 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on AM 560. You can find us at 560thesource.com. You can also find us on the TuneIn app, and you can watch us live on YouTube itself every Saturday, again, 10 a.m., 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. But again, 2015 BMW M4, fantastic car, love it. It's an exciting car to drive. Go out and drive it if you're in the market for this type of a car, and we'll see you on our next review.